This is Dorothy White, and I'm with Community Focus, and we're so fortunate today to be at the Stephen Foster Story, and it is just an exciting place to be this spring because they have so many new things going on.
That's right.
I'm with Billy Bass, the marketing director, and Billy's going to take us through all the new things that they've got to show us and then tell us about the programs that are coming up this year. So do we want to start with a few things that we've got coming up?
Sure.
Obviously the Stephen Foster Story.
Yes, we've got the Stephen Foster Story up and running. The rain has moved out, so you can come on out. The sun is finally shining bright here in Bardstown. That's going to be running through August 10th on select dates. We have one of our biggest Stephen Foster performances of the summer coming up on July 4th, where we do a pre-show event before.
Yes.
We've got watermelon eating contests, balloon toss, hula hoops, we have a bounce house. Everybody gets a cupcake at intermission, and then we have fireworks after the show on July 4th, so that's really exciting. And then a couple of days after that, we've got Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat opening up on July 6th, and that's going to run Thursday and Saturday nights from July 6th to August 8th. And we have a special discount night for Nelson County residents, and that's going to be on Thursday, July 18th.
Oh, wow.
So you get a special discount for Joseph for that night, but you get that discount for the Stephen Foster Story all summer long. So if you're a Nelson County resident, come on down, enjoy the discount, and see the Stephen Foster Story on a brand new stage.
Well, and I know a lot of folks obviously have seen it, you know, maybe in the past, but every time I see it, there's something that I didn't catch the year before, or a certain scene will be totally different, because obviously you've got a lot of young folks that come in here each summer to do summer stock and to, you know, show off their skills. So you get a lot of new people along with the stable group that's been there for a long time.
We do, and you know, anytime you have a new actor come in, you know, a scene will change. You know, we have a new actor playing Stephen Foster, and a new actress playing Jane McDowell this year. So there's a whole new dynamic with those two, but they affect everybody on stage. And you know, scenes like you said, with folks who've been there for even 2, 3, 4 years, or folks who've been playing the same roles for 10, 15 years, it just brings a whole new dynamic, a whole new sense of urgency, and just a different feel to the scene.
Excitement.
Exactly. It's very exciting. And like you said, you know, you always notice something when you come back to see the show. This year especially, one of the things we'll talk about is the brand new sound system we have. The clarity of the vocals is unlike anything you've ever heard before. You know, we were dealing with 30-year-old equipment, and so it's brand new. It sounds incredible. So there are lines even this year that I've heard in songs. I'm like, I never knew what she sang there. So it's a fantastic show. Like I've been telling people, if you've seen it before, even if you saw it last year, you've not seen this show on this stage with the new sound system. So come on out and experience it.
And with Joseph coming up, then do you have any kind of, like, they could see both programs, or how does that work? Is there any kind of combination ticket they could maybe get? Or?
We don't really have a combination ticket, but with if you do the Nelson County rate on Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat on July 18th, and the Nelson County rate for the adults on Foster, you're still saving, you know, if you had done both shows and you're an out-of-county resident, you're saving almost 50% off the normal price. So it's a great deal for kids and adults alike. So yeah, it definitely, you know, come on down. I like to tell people, you know, if you want to see it in a weekend, you can see, you know, Stephen Foster on a Friday and then Joseph on a Saturday. So there's plenty of opportunities. We're here till August 10th.
Okay. Well, and we were just talking about the beautiful sunny day. So when we go outside, we're going to see everything in the very best light possible. The rain has, you know, gone away for a while. So
it's made the grass very green, though.
It's made the grass very green, and the colors are so vivid. I noticed in our backyard, it's just, everything is just beautiful. So there's all that good to look for. So we're excited. We're going to go outside and see what they have to offer.
Sounds good.
It's just gorgeous here today, and we'd like to see this weather just continue a little bit longer. Billy Bass, the marketing director, is here with us this morning, and he's going to tell us some of the new things that they've got to offer here at the drama and all the upgrades and everything that they did. We were just commenting on the beautiful stage. It's just a beautiful place to look out here.
It's incredible. You know, this is one of those things I've been telling people all off season, especially once they got the project done, that this is a view that I'll never get tired of seeing. You know, when they started the renovation process back in September of 2018, we had our final concert on September 7th, and then the demolition of the old facility began on September 14th. And they took it down to a pile of mud. You know, everything in front of the seats, the facade you see now, the buildings, the houses, was just mud, rock. They ripped up all the old concrete on the stage floor, and that was a little overwhelming to see, because all we could think about is that, you know, we have to do a show on June 8th of 2019, and so you guys have a timetable. There's a strict timeline to follow, and you know, everybody, the contractors, the Nelson County Fiscal Court, the Bardstown City Council, the judge, the mayor, Jimmy Higdon, Chad McCoy, everybody involved in this project really stepped in and made sure that we got this done safely. That was the #1 priority. It was the reason we had to tear down the old facility.
Right.
But also that we got it done on time, that we made improvements for both the cast and crew and the audience, but also gave it that air of familiarity. You know, you look at this stage, and we've been doing the show. This is our 61st season of the Stephen Foster Story.
61st.
So it's hard to imagine that, but you know, folks who've come over the last 6 decades can come and see the show and say, I can tell that it's new, but it also feels like home.
It's very shiny and new, though. It truly, I love the way you have kind of brought the outside in, and you see that it just all just goes just the way, you know, that it looks so natural, but yet it does look very shiny and new.
Absolutely.
So.
And you know, some of the things that we wanted to do to make it have that new look, because you know, this was a project that cost, with the sound system and the stage floor included, it was over $1.2 million. And so one of those things that we wanted to do is make it look kind of new. So you know, you've got the stone wall pieces that are on each of the torn walls there. You know, you've got some new landscaping in. We had to lose some trees when they were digging for the footers. One of the biggest issues we had was our drainage and our water situation. So the first thing they did was put a new sewer line in, put a new drainage situation. They graded the back, you know, the ground there behind the stage area. So we don't have standing water, and as a cast member, I can't tell you how exciting that is to walk back there after it's been raining for 2 weeks and to see no water inside the buildings here is incredible. But one of the best things for us is these buildings, each building can be completely sealed up. You know, you see the big garage doors on the ground level.
I do.
And we had those in the old facility, but they were so old and not necessarily in the best condition. So once you opened them for the season, we never closed them until the season was over, because they would get stuck, they would hit the sets, something would go wrong. Now they're on mechanized motors on the ground level. And what we didn't have before was on the upper level. There's more garage doors right above them. And the ones that face the house here where the seats are, those are where our new speakers are on either side above the homes. And then the 3 that are on each side kind of facing the stage are where the lighting equipment is held. And so what's great about that is, we can protect it from nature. You used to have bats and raccoons and squirrels and Lord knows what in there. And we protect against the elements, the heat, the rain, which means that our lighting equipment is going to last longer, and we don't have to strike it at the end of the season. You know, we can put things up, and we don't have to worry about taking them down at the end of the year, because we know that they're safe. You know, all these doors lock, so that's a fantastic upgrade for us, and it will help us keep the quality of the show consistent for years to come and keep costs down for us as we go along. But like you said, everything is so shiny and new. You know, we have, like on the McDowell home here, that new wrought iron railing.
I see
that was beautifully done. We were able to keep those coach lights that are on, there's 6 of them on stage there. Those are actually the same ones that were on the old stage. We just gave them a shiny new coat of paint, and then we had to create, the same person who created the wrought iron railing there, created some of the ornamental pieces on some that were broken. So it's those things, and the set pieces when they come out, those are the same set pieces that we had in the previous facility. So we've got the shiny, we've got the new, but we've also got the familiar, and the nostalgia is still there. And so it does feel like the same Stephen Foster story, but in a brand new, safe facility.
And that makes all the difference. I know when the folks coming to the show for the first time, the very first time they walk in here, it's just breathtaking. It really is.
Absolutely.
Let's go on down to the stage and take a look down there. Now, Billy, I have always wanted to be up here. The many years that I have seen Stephen Foster over the years, every time it just takes my breath away to see what an incredible show that they put on, the young people that are in the different, you know, scenes. But I love it when she comes out here and yells down at Stephen, and Stephen looks up and sings to her. I mean, I just think that's every girl's dream.
It's very much a Romeo and Juliet moment, if you think about it.
It's Romeo and Juliet, but it's in our own community, and it's right here. And hopefully folks will come down and have an appreciation for all the hard work that has gone into this, and just the incredible job that you folks have done.
Thank you.
And we just thought it would be fun to go behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
And see some of the things that, you know, people will come in and sit down. This is what they see.
Right.
But we'll take them behind the scenes so they can see even more.
Well, that was one of the things you were mentioning as we were walking up to get to the balcony is, just how sturdy everything was. And obviously, like I said before, safety was the #1 priority when it came to rebuilding this facility and thinking about the future. But not only is it safe and sturdy, but it's also efficient. You know, we've used the space well back there,
yes.
and there's no risk of, you know, a wobbly balcony or a really tight spiral staircase. Everything is fantastically sturdy, safe. You know, you can be up here and Jane can be singing down to Stephen, and you know, we have Mama McDowell and Papa McDowell up here at some point too. So. And you know, this is a great view. Like you said, I'm not up here all that often, so it's fun to come up here and see the theater.
Yes, and it was exciting to me to see that. And I love when it's so realistic, when they're going in the house and, you know, just, well, especially when she comes out at night. I mean, that's a scene that I think every young person I know takes it to heart.
Absolutely.
And, you know, everyone really enjoys that.
Absolutely. And, you know, Kyle, who's playing Stephen Foster this summer, and Hope, who's playing Jane McDowell, those two do an excellent job with the roles. You know, they're brand new to the show this year, and they've just done an excellent job with both of those roles. And that's a lot. You know, we only have a 2-week rehearsal process for the Stephen Foster story, which is intense. Like, even though we're working all day, you know, we work from about 9 in the morning until 9:30 at night with a lunch and a dinner break. That's still a lot to learn, especially for Stephen Foster. And he's done a magnificent job. Hope, as Jane, has done a magnificent job. And the two of them really help tell this story in a new way, because you've got those new actors in the roles. So.
A new look.
Exactly.
A new look at that. Now, weren't you Stephen Foster at one time?
I've never been Stephen Foster. I've been in the show for a few years. I did play the role of E.P. Christie twice. And I played the role of Mr. Igo, who's the factory owner when Stephen is back in Pittsburgh. And so it's very fun, and I've been in, you know, I've been a feature dancer before, so I've been in many of the scenes, which really gives you an appreciation for the show when you get to interact with a whole group of people over here, or do a different thing over here. But yeah, it's a great story, you know, and it's a beautiful facility here, and so I'm glad that, you know, we were talking about that on the way up too. This is going to be a place that outlasts me and hopefully my children for another 60 years and beyond, so that we can continue this legacy.
We certainly hope so.
So you want to go backstage?
Yes, let's go backstage and see what's happening at the Stephen Foster story. I know with all the renovations, you've come up with just some beautiful, beautiful things. You know, the scenery out here.
Right.
And then we've got a lot of things to look forward to.
We do, you know, and it's one of those things that's, there's so much more room up here than there ever used to be.
Okay.
And like I said, this used to be a really tight spiral staircase. And that scene you're referring to with Jane, she used to have to run down the staircase really quickly.
Oh my goodness.
And now she can do it in a very safe manner.
Because she has that big dress on.
Exactly, exactly.
Well, I guess one time she's in her nightgown, so
right.
That would be a little bit easier, a little bit more movable. But I know one thing we had talked about was structurally how sound everything looks, and just what great shape it is.
And you see this wood here, but the structure of this facility is mostly metal. You know, it was all prefabricated, brought here and put together, I like to say, like Legos. You know, they worked it, they had all the pieces, they had them all laid out, and then they put them together and then put the siding on. So it's absolutely a gorgeous facility here, you know.
It is beautiful.
And it's so open. You know, you can see the grandiose set pieces that we have, but one of the biggest changes we did is this wall here, and there's 2 more. These used to go all the way back to the end, and so you'd really have just these hallways. And so it was very difficult to maneuver around, and you could never really just stand here and be in this set piece. There used to be a doorway, and so you could only fit one person at a time. So it was, for the cast and crew, it was very difficult to maneuver back here, because
it had to be.
You had only so much space. And so this is the McDowell interior. So we were just on the balcony of the McDowell home.
That you would go up these stairs.
You would go up those stairs.
To the balcony.
That's right. And this was one of our set pieces that got the biggest, we'll say, makeover in the off season, because we have a brand new home out there. And so the old home was a brick facade, and this new home, which is actually more closely accurate to the period, is a shake shingle finish and has a new roof. So the first thing we did was reshingle the roof to match the shingles that are on the new home. There are shake shingles on the outside of this home when it comes out, so that it matches the exterior. We got a new painted floor. We got new wallpaper this year. So it's really fun. I don't know if people realize all the time, you know, if people go into that house, when this set piece rolls on, that is an extension of that home. And so it looks, I think, just because we've done some of the renovations and matches to the outside there, I think it's a little more understandable this season.
Well, I certainly appreciated, you know, all the intricacies that you've done, because I know when this scene starts and you see all the characters, and especially the Christmas scene is just outstanding. And I know this is old hat to you, but to you know, the novice coming in and seeing these things, it's just amazing what you folks have done.
Thank
you should be very proud.
We're very proud, but we're also so, I tell people all the time, we were so overwhelmed with the community support that came out of, you know, the bad times when we were shut down by the state in December of 2017. You know, there were a few days where Johnny Warren, who's the managing artistic director, Margaret Elder, who's the office and accounts manager, and myself, we're the only people in the off season who were in the office. And so when that happened, that decision came down 2 days before Christmas in 2017 in December. We were just, what's going to happen? You know, not only are we thinking about our jobs because can we work here? You know, the amphitheater has been condemned, but then it was, what about the legacy of the Stephen Foster story? What about the cast members and the crew members? You know, we're 3 people in the off season, but we're over 100 employees seasonally. You know, between the cast and the crew and the staff up top. You know, everybody is equally important in making this place a success. And within days, and maybe not even days, maybe within hours, there was this wave of support that came from folks here in Bardstown and Nelson County and the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and then audience members and cast members who live outside of Kentucky calling in saying, what can we do? Writing in to our local officials. You had people in California and Florida writing into the mayor and the judge saying, you can't let this happen. Writing into Chad McCoy and Jimmy Higdon saying, we've got to do something about this. And it really is a testament to the community and to this production and this organization that's been around for 60 years, to what this place means to Bardstown and to Nelson County and the state of Kentucky. And the state of Kentucky and way beyond. Exactly. I know when folks came into the chamber, so many times one of the first things they'd ask is, you still have the outdoor theater, don't you? And we said, well, of course we do. And so just, you know, a lot of times Johnny would share tickets with us, and so we were able to give them some, or certainly encourage them to come down if they didn't have time to see the show this time, make plans to see it in the future. Right. Well, you know, having a professional theater organization in your community, especially a small town community like Bardstown, just adds so much to the quality of life, even if you're just looking at it from an economic, you know, aspect. And so you've got all these companies coming in. You know, we were just at the opening yesterday for the Takagawa Corporation. We sang My Old Kentucky Home before that got underway. We did the same thing when Thai Summit came into town. So, you know, you have these companies, you know, domestic or international, that come into Bardstown, and one of the things they look at is, you know, what can we do for the employees, what can we do for our employees, and having a professional theater organization that does shows in the summertime, shows and concerts, is just a big win for those folks. And again, you know, you look around Bardstown, when you came in here, you drove in on Stephen Foster Avenue. You know, there's a Stephen Foster restaurant, there's a Camptown Road, there's a Banjo Road. So the footprint is all over this town, over what this place has meant over the last 60 years. Well, you can certainly be proud of that, because this is a tradition that has been carried on year after year. And for many folks, this is just, it's just a stepping stone. I mean, they come here, they see this theater. I have so many people that tell me they come to Bardstown and they're charmed from day one and want to move here, retire here, be a part of this community. And I think that's what Stephen Foster does. They just encourage that. Look at all the young people that you bring in year after year. Anyone that's done summer stock or any kind of theater, even if they don't stay with it to be an adult and carry on that tradition, but just to be a part of that. Look at how many young people you have inspired here in Nelson County, and that's just incredible, and brings so much to the community. So I think it's only natural that they would share in the support. So, you know, we continue to thank, and I'll say it until the day that I leave this town, or the day that I leave this earth, I'll say thank you to everybody who was so instrumental in raising money, in, you know, garnering support for this massive project that we did in such a short time period. When you really think on the grand scheme of things, oh my gosh, the fact that this was able to happen between September 14th and April 30th was the deadline where they had to be done so we could get our new sound system in, was absolutely incredible. And we're so thankful that we're able to continue that tradition in Bardstown. And, you know, we have people that come see the show from all over the world. You know, I was here 2 nights ago, and we had a couple from Australia. We actually have a map up top where you can put a sticker on where you're from. And I've seen Russia and China and Paraguay, and, you know, and then here locally, you've got, but stateside, you've got California and Florida
Sure.
and Washington, and so it's a draw from all over the country, all over the world.
Well, and I think too, you actually, with these new companies moving in here, you're going to reach a whole new audience that maybe has never been tapped into before, because they're going to be bringing in more employees. I heard 180 was what the expected employee rate was going to be out there, and all the other new companies, the new distilleries that are coming. I mean, it's just going to uplift that and make it that much more important that we keep the stability here and keep these traditions going. So it just makes it really special.
So we used to have a lease with the state. The Stephen Foster Drama Association used to lease the amphitheater directly from the state of Kentucky, and then thankfully the Nelson County Fiscal Court came in, and now they have the lease with the state, and then we lease from the county. And so the county, you know, they were in charge of the bids and the projects and all that. And so what was really fun though is, you know, when these folks came out, BCD was the contractor who came in and was in charge of this project. But
a local company.
A local company, exactly. So it's always nice to be able to you know, stay local when you can. But you know, some of those guys had never worked on anything like this before. Probably most of them, as far as you know,
most of them.
Maybe all of them. I'm not really sure, but it was fascinating because you know they were not only trying to do a good job for the sake of doing a good job, but they were invested in this project. You know, more so than I think you would be on just a standard home build or you know a new construction of a business. They wanted to make sure that they took as much care and as much time as possible. The Glendy Burke, the big you know, paddle boat that comes out at the end of the show, that took almost 2 hours to get out of the old building and up the hill, because they basically had to turn it to get it into the parking lot. And so watching them take that care to do it, instead of just saying, oh, we'll get it and then we'll fix it later, they wanted to make sure that as much as we could save, as we were able to, that we could. And you know, even at the end of the project, when they were making sure all the details were correct on the homes or backstage here, whatever they could do to make sure that we had the best facility possible to make sure we could continue the show. I'm very excited. Some of them have already been to see the show this year and either hadn't seen it before or hadn't seen it in a while. So again, like, it's a whole new audience. You get these folks in to see the Stephen Foster story that's been in their backyard this whole time, that they may, you know, have never had a chance to go to or hadn't been to for 30 years. And now you get to see it on this brand new facility that everybody should be proud of.
Well, and they can go home and tell the children, you know, I remember moving this piece, and I remember, you know, being a part of that. And then the young people get that inspiration as well, and are going to just continue that.
Exactly. You know, we have, like you said, cast members, young cast members. Our total cast is about 43 this year, and about half of those folks are from Kentucky, you know, whether that's Bardstown, Louisville, Lexington, Radcliffe, around this area, E-Town. But then the other half are from all over the place. You know, we've got kids who go to school in Indiana, we've got kids from Connecticut, Florida, New York. So there is a new appreciation for Bardstown from those folks who've never been here before, not only to work here at the Stephen Foster Story, but to come back and say, oh, you know, I love the Talbot Tavern, or I love going to brunch at Mammy's, or, you know, I love going to the Tap House, or whatever the case may be. Yeah, exactly. Or Haydor's. So, you know, it's great for the community because you have these, you know, 50 people who come in every summer and, you know, spend money at the gas stations, at the restaurants. Their family come in and stay at the hotels. And so that's just a small impact of what we do. And then you think about the audience themselves and things. But the fact that we have this cast that's able to come into this new facility, all of the rookies, as we call them, they don't know what they are dealing with here. Exactly. Yeah, they have it easy this year compared to the veteran cast members, even the ones who were here for the first time last summer. You know, they came back and were like, oh my goodness. And you know, even the new folks, you know, they don't know what to expect, but they come in and see this facility, and it's so cool. You know, it is very cool. One of the things that they did. So the old building was all made of wood, and you know, it depended on which wall you were leaning on. Sometimes the wall would lean with you, and you didn't have to try that hard. And but what they did, you know, the old facility was kind of piecemeal together over the last 30, 40 years. You know, it started with just the walls that went all the way back, and then they built a roof, and then eventually added a second roof above that, which is where our catwalk is now. So you got to think, at the top of those garage doors where they would be open, there would have been a roof there. And then above that, there would have been a secondary roof. And to get up to the level where the lights are now, you had to climb this ladder that wasn't really a ladder. It was kind of 2x4s that were drilled into the wall, and the hole at the top of the roof was kind of, you know, cut out in a makeshift fashion. And so again, it was not the most safe and secure situation, but we had, we learned to deal with it, and the audience would have never known most of the time, because all the stuff that was the issues were backstage that you couldn't see. But the fact that you've got all this openness, this light in here, it just gives us opportunities, like when we're building sets and when we're painting sets and when we're rehearsing, if it's raining or if it's 100 degrees during the day, we can come in here and we can rehearse in here, we can build in here, we can paint in here. We only have about 3.5 weeks after we opened the Stephen Foster story to get the second show open. And this year it's Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
It's going to be such a great show. If you've
I'm
never
looking
seen it
forward to
before,
that.
it's so much fun, it's colorful, it's family friendly. It's based on the biblical story of Joseph and his brothers, but it's written by Andrew Lloyd Webber, who did Phantom of the Opera and Cats.
So music is incredible.
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely beautiful music. And so it's such a fun show. But, I remember 10 years ago when we did that show, that was my very first summer in the Stephen Foster story. And, we would paint in the parking lot when it was dark. We paint on stage because that's the only place you had light. And so it's such a little thing, but to have these bright lights just gives us so much more flexibility when it comes to putting the shows on and giving us an extra venue to build, rehearse, whatever we need to use it for. And like I said, seems like a silly thing, but it's magical. I came down here at 10:30 the other night and I was like, how is it so bright back here? Like I've never seen it this bright here before.
Well, and even like you said, the doors, now the doors close automatically. Everything is set, and then it's airtight. So you don't have to worry about the rain, the seasons. I mean, we get some windy and pretty bad weather around here sometimes.
Absolutely.
So how nice it is to know that all your sets are safe and secure at all times, but totally accessible.
Exactly. And one of the added benefits, this building is completely insulated. It's not air conditioned or heated yet, but we're in here right now and it feels pretty comfortable. It's been hot outside, the sun's out. So it stays pretty comfortable in here, but when you've got the garage doors open on both sides, there's actually a natural draft that comes through.
Nice breeze.
And so it feels, when you're in the shade in here, it actually feels pretty good backstage in a place where, it used to be, the walls weren't configured the same way. We didn't have the garage doors on this side. This side of the theater we could never board up. Like you would literally have to put plywood and nail it to the old facility in order to keep people out. And so, like you said, it's clean, it's dry, it's safe, it's secure, and it's just going to be a place that we're able to work in as much as we want to. I'll show you one of the cooler things that we were able to do. Johnny Warren was very excited about this situation. This is one of our flippers we have for the show to kind of mask the sight lines. But I said before, these walls used to go all the way back, so it was very difficult to see everything, to move around. But one of the things they did this year is added these barn door walls. I bet it's not going to move because they've got it situated in a place.
Or else they have it, do they have it
They might have it just
maybe
bolted
at the other
down,
end?
yeah. So there to go. So we can actually open these barn doors whenever we don't need the sight lines, and it gives us much more room to rehearse, to work. We can do the same thing with that barn door over there. And if we ever needed a situation where we needed all this room, we can push these sets on stage, we can open the barn doors. And I tell you what, when they were finishing up this building, they did the stage right building first, and then came over here. Before they put the sets pieces in here and everything, it was massive. I was like, this is massive. Such a huge space to do whatever we need to. So. One of the things we want to do in the future is rebuild some of our bigger set pieces so that they can come apart in ways that these can't, so that it might be feasible to store everything on one side of the theater in one building and have an open area for whatever we need it for. So,
that's a great idea.
That's kind of the phase two. Once we had to get through the show this year. There's some things we still need to work on. We did the sound system. But the next big thing we have to do technically is our lighting system, our dimmer racks. I believe there's only one person on the planet who knows how to fix them. So anytime something breaks, we ship it off to him. And so as long as he's around, we're good. But, we are hoping that we can upgrade our lighting facility or lighting system in this facility over the next couple of years. And, that way we can bring in some LEDs and some, more modern theatrical lighting. But the fact that it still works is fantastic. So I'll take that. And that's another testament to the contractors. They took all the electrical and they capped it so they didn't have to rerun things. And so that way our mapping up top, the circuits and the grids was all the same, because that would have taken weeks to figure out what was where. And because everything up there is, like I said, it's so old. You got to picture, if you ever see in a cartoon or an old movie, the old operating system, you know, when you
Right.
call an operator and they have to plug switches. That's
Right.
what it's like with our lighting system. When they want
Oh,
certain
my goodness.
circuits,
I
they have
didn't
to
realize
plug.
that.
It is
Oh.
incredible. And so that would have been a nightmare. But again, a testament to the contractors who made sure that it was as efficient and as easy as possible once we got clearance to be back in here and the electric going, that our lighting team and our lighting designers didn't have to spend weeks totally reconfiguring everything. You know, for them, there was some work that they had to do to get it going, but for now and from now on, it's going to be much easier every year.
Well, I know every person that has something to do with this has worked really, really hard
Absolutely.
to make sure that it, like we said, that you know, the future is where they're going to come back to appreciate this.
Right.
The sealed doors, the safety, the security of
Yeah.
it. I think all that is going to make such a difference.
Absolutely. And I think everybody in this town and this county should be very proud of what the folks did. You know, whether you gave $1, whether you came down here and offered to paint or pressure
Right,
wash or
right.
whatever, you know, just buying a ticket to come see the show.
Yes.
Is everybody should be proud of the facility that we have here in Bardstown. You know, you think about it, anytime I go out to tell people, you know, where I work or where I'm from or what we do here, you know, I tell them, they're like, how many people live in Bardstown? I'm like, about 14,000 or so. And they're like, and you have what? And I was I know. It's incredible. And,
I know.
you know, it is truly, like I said, it's a testament to this community that we were able to raise through, you know, private donations with a little help from the state and other organizations, $1.2 million in less than a year. And
my
it's just, it is something that I never thought would happen. You know, you talk to cast members who've been here for 30 years that remember the old days when there was no rubber on the stage. You were just dancing on concrete. Or they remember the days before there was the second level on the old building. And, you know, they're so thankful that they have an opportunity to see this, but also that they know the amount of time and effort and talents that they've put in, that the legacy will continue, and that we have this gem here in Bardstown for many decades to come.
And that the community is totally behind you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, Billy, we sure appreciate you sharing this with us this morning.
Absolutely.
I know it's been very exciting for me and really, you know, fun to be able to do the behind the scenes and then also to see all the wonderful things that you're bringing to the community. And the shows, again, are Stephen Foster Story.
Yes.
If you have never seen the drama, you truly make this summer, make that an objective. And then also the other show that will be going on.
Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Okay.
And so you've got chances to see both shows. The Stephen Foster Story is going to run select dates through August 10th. And I keep telling people my slogan this year is, it's a new stage, it's a new sound system, but it's the same Stephen Foster story.
Right.
So even if you've seen the show before, definitely come back and see it again. You'll pick up on things you never saw before.
Right.
You'll get to appreciate this brand new facility. And then Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat runs July 6th through August 8th, Thursdays and Saturdays. You got 10 performances. And that Nelson County Discount Night is going to be on Thursday, July 18th.
Okay.
And of course, we've got the Live at the Park concert series, which I know you said you were at Hotel California
I
the other
did.
night.
I just loved it. We've been to many of them, but that was one that we always, you know, look forward to. It just was fabulous.
It's so much fun, and you know, the concert series and our second show is a great opportunity for folks here in Bardstown and Nelson County to come out and experience this facility and see something different every single year. You know, we
Right.
like to offer the community as a way to say thank you for supporting us for six
Right. 60
generations,
years.
60 years, yeah. We try to give them something new every year. So, you know, the next concert we've got coming up is a country group called Parmalee. They've been on and off the charts since 2013, and they've actually got special guest Layla Spring. She's from Lebanon, I believe, and she was on American Idol last year.
Oh, I do remember that, yes.
So she's going to be their special guest. And then we've got Boy Band Review coming up. The Monarchs will be here in August. Jumpin' Jack Flash, tribute to the Rolling Stones, will be here at the end of August. And then we close out with a group called Slippery When Wet, and they're the music of Bon Jovi.
Oh my gosh, love that too.
And it's going to be so much fun. It's really eclectic. There's literally something for everybody this summer. And you can find tickets or more information at StephenFoster.com. We've got the whole schedule on there. You can get your tickets. You can get your information. You can find us on Facebook, Facebook.com/The Stephen Foster Story. I try to post some fun photos and videos on there and all information as well. Or give us a call, 502-348-5971. So.
Okay. Well, we're looking forward to all that this summer, and it's going to be a great year to come out and see the Stephen Foster drama.